Hello everyone, welcome to another PHP tutorial. In this tutorial, or actually in last tutorial, this is what we had. Hello world, I'm awesome. Well, in this tutorial we're going to be going over variables. What a variable is, well, let's say we wanted to echo hello world 5 times. We could. Especially if we were copying and pasting, it'd be really easy, right? Well, what if you had to use hello world for other reasons, or you didn't want to copy and paste? Wouldn't it be easier to potentially just type a single letter and the program still knows it means hello world? I'd think so. And to do that is actually possible, especially in PHP. So we are going to go over variables. A variable is a name which represents a value. To declare a variable in PHP, hit Shift 4, at least for American keyboards. But it's the dollar sign. Dollar sign, dollar sign, dollar sign. And we will name this variable T for text. Hit the equal sign. Type hello world without a capital O as well. Oh, my bad. Okay, this is annoying. Alright, finally. Now if we go over here and we refresh the page, it's still only going to say hello world, because that's all we're telling it to do. But now I will go over this line, line 5. The dollar sign tells PHP we're about to declare a variable. PHP actually it doesn't tell it we're about to declare a variable. The dollar sign tells PHP you're either about to use a variable or you're about to declare a variable. Technically, the dollar sign is a part of the variable's name. The variable's name comes next, other than the dollar sign. In this case, it is T. That is the name. When we hit the equal sign, we tell PHP that we have named it, and now we're going to tell you what the variable represents or holds, what value it holds. By putting quotation marks, we tell PHP it's going to be a string. A string is a group of characters. Usually, if we didn't have these quotation marks, this would look like a big jumble of commands that PHP is supposed to carry out, because they're all separate entities in PHP's mind. Hello and world. Separate entities. But when you put in quotation marks, it becomes one entity, one thing. Everything in it is the same. It is all one value. And the quotation marks help to keep us from accidentally messing up the rest of our code. That is what a string variable can hold. Now if we go down here and change this to T, you will see we get nothing. We get an error. But we named our variable T. In PHP, the variables, for PHP to know you're about to use a variable, you have to put the dollar sign before it. Otherwise, it's just going to think of it as a regular character. By the way, variables cannot start with anything other than a letter. It can have numbers in it, and it can have underscores in it after that, but cannot have anything other than underscores and letters, or other underscores, letters, and numbers, and can only start with a letter. Now when we refresh the page, we get hello world, because we are now echoing the variable T. Now what if we wanted a number? Say 7. And well, when you want a variable to hold a number, all you do is put a number. Numbers are already single entities, but if you put them in strings, they do not work like numbers. They no longer can perform mathematical equations without some extra work. But numbers by themselves already work fine. So we will be going over mathematical equations in our next tutorial. If we refresh, we get the number 7. Now what if you wanted something easier to work with that only had 2 possible values and told you if something was true or false? A binary variable. Well, these are called booleans. And you can put true. And when we refresh, it will say 1. I'll explain this after we see what it says for false. We see it gives us nothing. Well, here's why. When PHP reads true, it's reading it more like a real computer would. Computers read everything in a series of 1s and 0s. When you are typing on a computer, typing code, it is compiled into 1s and 0s for the computer to read. The reason there's this medium is because it's very hard to understand the 1s and 0s and what they do. It's much harder to debug 1s and 0s than it is text and alphanumeric and more characters. But when we have true, 1 is equal to true for a computer. So it's going to echo 1, because that's what true means in PHP, in computers. But when we have false, we saw it echoed nothing. It's because false is the absence of truth. In several computer languages, false is equal to 0. In PHP, as we saw, we have just proven that we can make a very good theory that it is not equal to 0 in PHP. It is equal to nothing. But what if we wanted to echo true, the word? Well, put in quotation marks, and now it has no meaning other than the text, and we get true. Or well, if we wanted it to say false, put in quotation marks, we get false. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Please hit the like or dislike button corresponding to how you felt about this video, and we'll catch you guys